So this one I picked for you because this, I believe, is going to be a grappler's delight. I'm going to pull up the odds now because the odds are, this is literally just before the fights. This is a fight, though, that's very tight as far as the odds and the expectation. We have Nick Maximov coming up against Jacob Malkoun. I've sort of said my piece to you when we, talked in DMs and whatnot about what I feel about this fight, and people know online already how I feel about this fight. Malkoun came in at plus 145 as the dog initially. He's now plus 110 dog. We're pretty close to a pick 'em now at minus 130 coming in. Nick Maximov on the favorite. We know that Maximov is a little bit more of the jiu-jitsu guy. Although Malkoun is a jiu-jitsu guy, he does implement the wrestling in more of a maybe MMA style. But I don't want to talk. I want to hear. What's your take on this fight? How do you see it playing out? If it does hit the mats, where does it go? Even if you feel like it's going to stay on the feet, fine, break that down. And then if it does hit the mats, how do you see it go from there?
Well, this could turn out a few different ways. On paper, Malkoun does have stronger takedowns, tighter takedowns. Shown in his last few outings where he's been able to, have a good wrestling show. He's been able to take the guys down and control them. He's not really known for being a finisher. I think that's why Maximov has the advantage there, because he's been finishing more of his fights. His takedowns are a little looser, like he's not as effective in his takedowns. He kind of leans towards the jiu-jitsu aspect in the takedown, so to speak. Like if it doesn't work for him, I think we even touched on this before, that he's been known to pull guard, in fights, which I don't personally recommend. I've been watching MMA since I was a teenager, since Royce Gracie won UFC 1, which is kind of where I was like, man, I was brainwashed right there. I was like, that's it. Karate's used. I thought for sure that the karate guy was going to beat that skinny Brazilian, but no. So here we are. Maximov and Malkoun is going to be a good fight. I think there's going to be a lot of takedown exchanges back and forth. I think it's going to be like a scramble fest, to be honest with you. That's what my take is going to be on it. Or they could cancel each other out on the ground. These are one of the things that has been shown to happen in time to time. You get two good grappling guys, and their skill level just kind of cancels each other out. And then they're going to end up having to fight in a situation where neither one of them are in their strengths. So it could turn into a stand-up battle. It could turn into, a clinch fest against the cage where they're just kneeing each other and stomping each other in the feet. You never know. We're going to see. We're going to see where this gravitates to. I personally think Maximov is going to get the finish. I think he is that good on the ground that he's going to be able to exploit whatever holes Malkoun may have in his game. And I think you're going to see Maximov pull out the submission win.
All right. In the words of John Anik, putting your on the table and letting us know exactly. We're going sub Maximov. I like that.
Yeah.
That definitely is one of the angles, right? I mean, we know that Maximov does have the talent there. It hasn't fully translated at the UFC level yet, where he's able to fully control guys in the way that he's been able to implement a submission yet. But his control is there, right? And as he gets more and more comfortable, that is going to come, right? That is going to come.
Absolutely. It's just going to take him, it takes a while to get comfortable, to really, stretch your legs out and find your groove. You're locked in a cage fighting another human being. So, it's not like, your game isn't going to be A plus game right away. It's going to take time to slowly get yourself to that level of comfortability where, you'll be able to, compete the way that you train in the gym. A lot of guys are killers on the mat in the training room, but as soon as they get on the mat in the competition setting or into the fight setting, they just, they turn into somebody else. So,
and I'm sure you could even sort of speak to that, and even friends of yours and students and everything else. You could go to one competition where there's hardly anybody. It's a small gym and whatever else. You go to another one, there's people just packed everywhere. Or you're at a fan expo and you're whatever it is. So yeah, I definitely could see that. And it is at the Apex. We'll see if, Maximov can figure it out. I've always been a Maximov backer, but there is one line, I think Malkoun had the value at plus 145. I think that's where the value was. I think once this line gets closer, it's just sort of who you pick. I'm on the Malkoun side of things. I think that the jiu-jitsu will sort of stalemate itself out. I think that there'll be enough scrambles that Maximov won't be able to get a position, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like you said, it's going to be, it's so tight for anybody to say they know exactly how this one plays. It's almost impossible, right? The one line I did like, though, Maximov landed 11 takedowns 2 fights ago against Soriano.
Mm-hmm.
His last fight, he landed 0, and the one before, and 3 fights ago, he landed 4.
11. There was one where he had 11, right?
Yeah, so that was 2 ago. I just said against Soriano, but it's against Punahale Soriano. It's not saying too much, right? So, but still, 11. That's a lot. But then we have Malkoun, who had 8, 6, and 7. If you're good at anything, you're consistent.
More consistency in his numbers.
My money's with the odds on the takedowns with him. It's not necessarily the pick on the finish, because you can take him down 6 times in the fight and win the takedown realm, and then get submitted in the 3rd round by Maximov because he's tired now, right?
Exactly.
So Malkoun, most takedowns, he's actually the dog in this at plus 125. Yeah. Malkoun, most takedowns, plus 125. I'm telling you, his last 3 fights, 8, 6, and 7 takedowns. Maximov takedowns were 0, 11, and 4. And Soriano's takedowns defense is sort of trash. So yeah, that's an angle, right? But I definitely like your take on this. I like the fact that, although I'm on the Malkoun side of things, I like somebody who knows the game, who understands jiu-jitsu on a level that I can't understand, is thinking that we got a sub here.
On that note, I think we gotta change your level of understanding. I think you gotta start coming in and start doing some classes.